Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki and we'll begin with the front pages of the daily, starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with 2027. Don't underestimate Tinubu, Ribadu wants opposition. ADC slams presidency over alleged plot to overthrow Tinubu, says it's ploy to repress opposition. Governors, APC leaders secretly supporting coalition. Babache ex-SGF says Labour Party can't win election. Will contest on ADC ticket. That's coming from Kindigwe. Don't write us off yet. PDP says it's not losing ground to ADC. You can see that story on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. And here there's a photo story taken at the third annual Global First Ladies Academy in New York. On page 28, governors renew push to delete Labour from exclusive list. Lagos local government polls. Police restrict vehicular movement for 12 hours on Saturday. Immigration. Nigerians face growing visa orders in United Kingdom, United States, Canada, United Arab Emirates, others. You can see that on page 8. FIRS has made significant progress. That's coming from IMF. Senate probes Ponzi schemes in Lagos. Two fear dead as gunmen attack Anambra community. Federal government secures $747 million loan for Lagos Calabar Highway. Federal government targeting food sufficiency through PPP, information that minister says. No one single-handedly made Buhari president in 2015, says ex-SGF boss Mustafa. Away from Vanguard, we move to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian leader story says 2 years later, international travel restrictions spark fresh row over absence of ambassadors. Again, 20 gunmen raid Aguata local government council Q4. Delegates will decide who gets ADC's presidential ticket, says Atiku spokesman. And lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, EFCC decries a mind-boggling fraud at NNPCL, wants unexplained wealth criminalized. You can see that on Newspaper 3. The Punch leading story says diplomatic tensions. Federal government pushes back as United States, United Arab Emirates tighten visa rules. Ministry begins high-stakes negotiation as officials force United States over reciprocity claim. You can see that on page 2. And there's a photo story with writer that says United States meeting. African leaders seek Trump's support to develop resources. Local government poll. Police restrict movement in Lagos, deploy squad. Tinubu government seeking excuse to clamp down on coalition. That's according to the ADC. And lastly, the nation, the leading story says aviation experts knock splash of cash by state airport. 369.4 billion naira spent by 19 subnationals. Fan MD, only 3 airports profitable. That story is on the front page and it continues on page 4. Tinubu's reforms building on Buhari's legacy. EFCC seeks a law to criminalize unexplained wealth. Court nullifies conversion of Nikon's 130.7 million euros by Union Bank. And lastly, on the Nation newspaper, International Council of Beverages Association tackles World Health Organization on SSB tax. You can see that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Joining me to analyze some of the stories on the front pages this morning is Mr. Oludari Mayowa, publisher at Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning, Damlola. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, the National Security Advisor, NSA, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, he has cautioned critics of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration against underestimating the president's leadership and commitment to transforming Nigeria, insisting that such critics belong to the past era with outdated ideas and failed records. What's your take on this?
Thank you very much. First of all, Ribadu, though was the political appointees of the president, is a man that has general respect for himself especially during his reign as the chairman of EFCC, and as getting some support from the public government where he handled the job at that time. As the national security advisor to the president, I think making political statement at this time is very wrong for him. He will have let that kind of statement for people, whether the spokesperson or the president or those who are in charge of who are affairs. We would rather want him to focus more on his job as the national security advisor, coordinating the security operation across the country. We know how security has taken over everywhere in this country, from the north to the south, to the west to the east. I think that should be a primary concern. I'm being concerned about who is trying to oustate the president or not. And that's for you are left that 40 for somebody, some people else. So it diminishes the reputation, diminishes outlook, diminishes the work he's supposed to be doing. For me, making political statement in situating such things, probably for me, it's a struggle for a man of his status. That's why I will find a national security advisor. In others' climb, don't hear them speaking, don't hear them in the public. They quietly do their work and they are efficient at doing that, coordinating the security, so that there should be security in the country. For me, it's out of order for him to make political statements.
Well, Ribadu argues that the opponent are inspired voices, claiming Nigeria is now safer, more stable, and more attractive for investment under President Tinubu. So, is this a positive security narrative credible, or is it just a statement made ahead of the 2027 election?
Exactly what I'm saying. If he has not dabbled into politics, he would not have possibly exposed himself. We all know what the security situation is in this country today. We all know the massacre in Benue, in Plateau, we know in other parts of the country, the southeast, even the southwest. If you travel across the road of the southwest today, you see their particular vehicles, line up across the road. And that's a sign of insecurity in the country. And he has done a very good job in his primary assignment. Where he did well where he was FCC, but now we are not seeing the impact of his whatever that qualified to be appointed as. I think Nigerian for today is speaking out of tune with reality. So that was saying that he would have concerned himself with managing the security situation and lead the politicians. The important speaks like that, we say, okay, they are doing politics. But for a man of his integrity, of his status, who is an NSA, Nigerian National Security Advisor, speaks in that respect, it belies his status, it belies whatever ritual he has gathered for himself in the time past. The security in this country is not improving. That's the reality. We have seen cases where the banditry has sacked military posts, seized our equipment, our tanks and the rest. Is that an improvement? What can we call that improvement? People are still afraid to travel on the road because of insecurity, fear of being kidnapped and the rest. So until we have those elements coupled, we have people go back to their own home. Somebody are still in IDP in Benue, in Plateau. How can we say this country is more secure and more? We are not Abuja, Lagos is not the only. It's not Nigeria. There are many parts of this country that people are still afraid to move freely because of insecurity. So we don't understand what Ribadu is saying. That.
Well, ex-SGF Babachelawa, he says there's some APC governors, they are quietly supporting the opposition coalition, and also APC formally endorsed Tinubu for 2027 re-election in May. So the claim of Lawa that that APC members are in support of that, and these endorsement of Tinubu. What do you think about this? How do you interpret this?
Well, AGF is making political statements. It's called to make a political statement because it's not in government. It's aligned with the ADC, the coalition. So it can make a bogus statement. Because there's no clarity. Nobody is coming out as of now today from APC to say we are identified with the coalition. And when you analyze the whole situation, it's very difficult for people to live where there's food, go where there's less food. That's not understand that we are not really that there may be those who are not happy with the system, who are internally they are not able to voice their own. No continue and they weigh their options. If they know that this ADC is going to be viable, it's going to give them the leeway to win election. You see people moving en masse. We have seen that happen during the creation of APC in 2013, 2014, 2013, 2014. We see 5 governors from PDP joining APC, and moving all their machinery to APC. We see faction of APGA, the most former governor, Richard Koja, moving his own to the APC because after winning the option, they recognize the fact that APC might give them the more leverage than PDP. So we can't rule out the option that people in the APC might be weighing their options and see where the pendulum will swing in the coming election. But it is a very doubtful if people who are enjoying the APC today probably are in position, they are appointed, they are enjoying, want to move to a position that has not getting his stand, they are not probably getting his feet right. They are still not stabilized. Until they are stabilized, they cannot be able to attract people, showing that they are viable during the election. So, but like I said, the SGV is making political statement. It's in order to make that political statement to make the ADC look good. It's part of his right to do that and to encourage people to see them as a alternative option to the APC.
All right, let's move away from there. In recent times, several countries, including the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Canada, and United Arab Emirates, among others, they have introduced stricter visa restrictions against Nigerians as part of their immigration crackdown and growing protectionism among the world superpowers. What do you think about this?
Of course, it's bad news for Nigerians. When I talk about expansion, liberalization, and the rest, any restrictions reduce our ability to grow, to connect with the world, and to improve our economy. For example, it will curb our trade, our transatlantic relations with those countries. You cannot go for US. You cannot have a free entrance to UAE, for example. It covers our ability to export and to import. Same thing for US, UK, and the rest. And these are not done out of the blues. Number one, when the US was making statement, they said that this is a reciprocal to Nigerian policy, Nigerian foreign policy, Nigerian immigration, Nigerian need to be reformed completely. Before that, when I was in Reuters, before you can get your people to come to the country, it took a long time to get visa for them. It took a long time for you to secure, for example, a resident permit for them. And you want the other country to treat you the way you are treating them. They will do, that's what they are reciprocating to you. On America, when they come to Nigeria, we give them one entry visa. And before they can get visa from Nigerian visa in the US, UK, it's tedious. They go to process that in that system. And this is the same thing we are complaining here. So government need to do something about that, reform the system. Thirdly, in the last 2 years, we don't have ambassadors in those countries. The president Tinubu has appointed an ambassador to those countries. And if there's any meeting, consultation going on at that level, we don't have a representative in that area. So those are the part of factors that we are reaping the fruit today. For example, we have ambassador in the US, for example. By now, we have been consulting with the Secretary of State, in the US, trying to negotiate the way out and to find solution to what we are having today. But nobody to stand for us, nobody to speak to us in that place. When you tell officer in 2 years, there's not hold water. It's just like you're meeting somebody and you just have to talk to it. It can't go beyond our borders. We need an ambassador, a representative of the president in Washington, in Russia, in those strategic trade partners, so that they can represent our interests well, so that people will hear the information, so that we need to pass to the country here what we need to do to correct our situation. In last 2 years, we don't have such representation in those countries. So this one will weigh more on us. And these are the results we are seeing today. So government to wake up. It's not enough for them to say they are make political statement, propaganda about the state of the economy. They need to do the right thing to ensure that we have access to those countries. These are some of their major trading partners, for example. But if you have restrictions on movement, then our businessmen and women will not be able to enter those countries to transfer business. And that's a minus for our country.
So right now,
during the first coming of Donald Trump, he actually stopped he actually did some reform that curb Nigerian access to American visas and the rest. But after some time, after we carry out some reform, they are able to reverse it. For example, we stop Dropbox for Nigerians during those periods. After we have made some reforms, some changes there and there, they restore Dropbox, in later day. So these are things that if you have representatives in those places, we need to engage them. There may not be clarity on our stance on a particular issue. But when we have representatives there, we have to engage the authority and let them know the reason for all those things. And if there's any also we need to move. Then we embark on those things to have free movement. Globally, there shouldn't be any barrier in movement, so to say. And government to do more in ensuring that we cooperate with this country to ensure that they are restore the right of Nigerians to have access to this country.
All right. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, he has disclosed that the federal government is working closely with state governments and the private sector to scale up investment in agriculture and achieve self-sufficiency in food production. What do you think about this?
There's a good move if truly it's going to materialize. But we have had so many noise about improving food security in this country. We have so many times we have government that said they are declared state of emergency in food production. We are not seeing anything. The major element to food production, obstacle to food production in this country is insecurity. In the farming, in the Plateau and Benue and Taraba, where we consider as a food bed of the pyramid of the country, insecurity has chased people away from their home, from their farmland. X-men from the north, from Mali, from all the side, have invaded to feed their plots on their farms. So there are much destructions in those areas. And if you don't curb those insecurity in those areas, no matter the mountain, the policy, whatever the government is doing, it will not materialize until the government focus on addressing insecurity in those areas, ensuring that Nigeria we are able to preserve. For example, there are reports that says almost 80% of the food produced in Nigeria are wasted. You don't have storage. From transporting from the north to the south, a lot of food are wasted. If you go to Mushi Market, for example, Lusha Market, and some of those major markets, in those days you see plantain rotting away. Because you bring them to the country and rotting away. Then the price keep going up. So if you have a way of preserving those foods and ensuring that we have lifespan for them, it will affect the pricing positively. So these are things that government to focus on. We don't need to be able to talk about it only until we see the action, until we see the result of those stuff. Then we can just take their pronouncement with a pinch of salt.
PPP now is being touted as the primary mechanism to boost food production. But what are the pros and cons of relying on private sector finance versus public-led agricultural interventions?
Yeah, whatever encouragement we need to give to private sector to boost the agri system, we need to do that. And government has the capacity to give it. Yeah, government involvement in farming is aberration. Because the government has no business in business. But the government to provide the infrastructures, road, for example, light, for example, easy access to seedling, for example, and security of life and property in the farm. The land use degree, access to land. Government must do to guarantee such things. Those are the elements we need to for improve food production in this country. And it's in the hand of government to ensure that have a policy that favors private sector individuals who want to go to farming, landscape farming, to go to it. For example, access to fertilizer, government to guarantee some of those issues. Make the ease of doing business very conducive for those who want to do participating in that area. The ones who are beginning to deal with insecurity, people are cattle rearers, invading their farms and destroy their products, killing their farm officers. It will not encourage individual or private sector to embark in large-scale farming. Government to ensure that they provide the enable environment for private sector to thrive and giving encouragement by building roads, ensuring that infrastructure are provided in those areas to make it more amenable for them to engage in those business. Yeah, it's the only private sector that can boast it, but we need to encourage them.
But realistically, can smallholder farmers, youth, and women benefit from these high-end PPP, ventures?
Yeah, if it's properly managed, properly articulated. Look at the government Emefiele spend policy on anchor borrower. If those things have been properly managed, but bulk of those money, 90% of those money went to politicians who have no business in farming. And now they are finding how to recover those loans. But if you're able to have a channel where those money are properly channeled to those who need the money, by now we have overcome our issue on food scarcity and the rest. But the fact that whatever government introduce a policy, the politicians, they say, I hijack it. They hijack his money, they hijack the resources, hijack the tractors, and hijack everything. And so we cannot see the impact. So there must be a mechanism to ensure that if there's any incentive created by government, it gets to the right people who are genuinely involved in farming, not politicians who are taking the money, taking the loan, and fixing it in the fixed asset, buying foreign exchange to hedge against inflation and the rest. That was we witnessed during the anchor borrower explained by CBN. Until government is totally genuinely committed to this work, we may mount it, we may budget billions of naira to support it. Those money will end in the wrong pocket and will not have the desirable effect on food production in the country.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayowa, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Yes,
and have a lovely day.
Thank you. Yes. And this is where we have to draw the curtain. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. Do want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can also visit our website, www